Welcome to Retirement Ramblings. I'm Scott, and today is day 67 on my countdown to retirement. So today, when I woke up, I ended up going and turning off the slow cooker that I had been running for approximately 24 hours with my prime rib roast bones in distilled water and apple cider vinegar, and then I poured that through a fine cheesecloth in a strainer into a pot to remove any fine debris that would be left after removing the bones and disposing of them. And then I took that and ladled that into a fat separator, and then waited for the fat to rise to the top, and then drained off the broth into 3 1-quart mason jars, which ultimately I put into the refrigerator to cool. So then I cleaned everything else up because it, leaves fat debris and stuff on everything. So I cleaned all that up, and then I made 3 eggs along with about 4 pieces of bacon for my breakfast. And then I got out my pressure washer because yesterday when I bought and changed out the battery in my truck, as part of that process, I had to clean off the old battery with baking soda and warm water, and that stuff spilled down into the battery box, and then it went out the overflow and created all these orange marks down my driveway that I didn't want sitting there for the whole winter. So fired up the pressure washer, got out there, moved the truck, got out there, and then cleaned up the driveway, pressure washed that off so that all the marks were gone. And then I also tried to clean a wasp nest that built on the outside of my office door. So I used the least pressured, I guess, part of the nozzle for my pressure washer to get rid of that, trying not to get the paint to be removed off the door. It did get the nest off, but it didn't take and get all the fine particles off. And ultimately, I'm going to have to somehow scrape those off and then repaint that section of the door so that it matches the appropriate colors. And then took my wife out to Mellow Mushroom to get a pepperoni pizza. And then came back, dropped her off, and ran over to Kroger where they were having a 2-day sale. And as part of the 2-day sale, they had eggs for $1.49 a dozen with a limit 5. So I bought 5 dozen eggs because, again, I'm getting ready to start up on carnivore probably either Thursday or Friday of this week. I have a doctor's appointment on Wednesday, so he's already sent me notes about my blood work, and he's not too happy about that. So we'll chat about that at my Wednesday appointment, and then, like I said, probably Thursday or Friday at the latest, I will I'll go back on to a strict version of carnivore, and I'm just trying to get eat down all the items that we have in the house that wouldn't be carnivore, that would be tempting. And then I'll throw any of the remaining stuff out that I don't get by that point in time. And then, I'll just do what I need to do. And so then after putting the eggs away in the fridge, I ran over to my brother-in-law's because tomorrow morning he's going to go in for a cardiac catheterization, and he believes they'll probably end up putting in a couple of stents. Anyway, I wanted to wish him well, make sure I saw him and my sister-in-law before they went into the hospital, and then we'll go walk his dog tomorrow while he's in there. And if we have to do it another day, I don't know whether, and he doesn't know whether they will end up keeping him overnight. I know when my wife had hers, she had to stay a full 24 hours in the hospital to make sure that everything was okay. He doesn't think that's going to happen, but he doesn't know, and so we'll find out whether we need to walk the dog and feed the dog and whatever for more than just tomorrow, if that bleeds over into Tuesday or not. Either way, I just hope everything goes well for him. Then my wife had been looking for this tricolor bracelet at Costco. When I went to go pick up the battery, she went and checked on it again. It had gone up like $100. The last time she looked at it, it went up another $50 since the last time she checked, which was less than a week ago, presumably because of the cost of gold. But now that gold is falling back, pretty much I told her when the sales come up, at around whatever, leading up to Black Friday, they'll probably drop the price back to the original price and call that a sale. Anyway, we'll wait and see. But as part of that whole process, I did go out and try and search on getting her the same kind of bracelet somewhere else for less money. Was unsuccessful in finding a replacement, that was less money or that was as nice as the one she was looking at. So that's that. And then I went and checked the earnings reports for the forthcoming week, because this week is going to be a big week in the market. And so there are 858 companies that are going to be reporting earnings in the upcoming week, including 5 of the Magnificent Seven. So Microsoft, Alphabet, Meta, Amazon, and Apple all report this coming week. But, if you, and there's a small number that, well, not small, 60 something that'll be reporting tomorrow, Monday, and then we get 167 on Tuesday, which includes Visa, United Health, NextEra Energy, Bookings Holdings, American Tower, Mondelez, and Corning, just to name a few. And then 237 report on Wednesday, which includes companies like Boeing and Caterpillar and CVS and Phillips 66 and Kraft Heinz. Then on Thursday, we get 288, which includes Eli Lilly, MasterCard, Merck, Gilead, Altria, Coinbase, Enterprise Product Partners. And then on Friday, we drop back to 102, including ExxonMobil, Chevron, AbbVie, Colgate, Palmolive, and Granger. But anyway, it's going to be a big week, and so the markets are either going to end on a really nice upswing or not. We'll see whether or not they beat earnings. But again, with 858 companies reporting, that's a lot of companies. So it should be an interesting week. And then I sent my mom's financial representative instructions on rolling over a T-bill that just came due this past week, and I asked him to break up the rollover into 3 specific time frames: one of 13 weeks, one of 17 weeks, and one of 26 weeks. And the reason I'm doing that is to try and maximize the yield over a longer duration of time, given that I fully expect that the Fed's going to start its rate cutting cycle this coming Wednesday, and then do it this month in October, then in December, then in January, and then obviously as we get into 2026 and go closer to May of next year, at the end of Jerome Powell's term, we know from his talking points that Trump is going to put a more dovish Fed share in. So my expectation is that we're going to have 2026 be the year that we bring rates, back down closer to hitting 3%. So we'll see. Anyway, for folks that are in retirement that have a very conservative bent, like my mother, and really want their money to be into bonds or in cash, whether that's CDs or whatever, as the rates go down, it's great for young people, not so great for retirees. Anyway, that's my update for today. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section down below, or drop me an email at myretirementramblings@gmail.com. Otherwise, I hope you have a great evening, and until tomorrow, take care.